Donald Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is heading abroad to push investigations that he hopes will benefit the president's re-election by undermining the DOJ's successful prosecution of Paul Manafort and going after Joe Biden. The New York Times reports that Giuliani plans to travel to Ukraine shortly to meet with that country's president-elect to, quote, urge him to pursue inquiries that allies of the White House contend could yield new information about two matters of intense interest to Mr. Trump. One is the origin of the special counsel's investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. The other is the involvement of former Vice President Joe Biden's son in a gas company owned by a Ukrainian oligarch.
The timeline doesn't match there.
The president.
It's a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous argument.
The president's personal lawyer told the paper, quote, "We're not meddling in an election. We're meddling in an investigation."
So let's just stop right there, because I don't want to hear any more about this.
This man is so.
You know, the pace is quickened. Donald Trump has always had no respect for constitutional norms. He's had no respect for
He plays very dirty.
norms.
That's what I talked to Jill Biden about.
But the pace is quickening, and you're starting to see things like, for instance, the Attorney General commits perjury in front of the House members, and nobody in Trump world lifts an eyebrow. No Republicans care.
A week later, he's joking about it in front of the crowd.
And I've got to say, it is now, again, all of these conservative writers that wanted to maintain their dignity and thought they could do that by being anti-Trump are now all going in to William Barr. I mean, just want to let you guys know, you are defending, I don't know, maybe you've known him for a long time, doesn't matter. You're defending the most corrupt attorney general, I mean, since John Mitchell. Like, it's bad. Your article is going to look extraordinarily stupid, and you're going to look like, well, a sycophant. It's really embarrassing. I hope you'll protect yourself from that, because you really humiliated yourself over the past couple weeks. But just to get, John, back to the quickening pace of this.
Yeah.
We had Donald Trump, of course, in Helsinki, undermining our intel agencies. Yeah. Saying, I believe the ex-KGB agent more than I believe the director of the CIA and the FBI and our NDI. You go on the list. Trashing America's military and their intel community as well. Now you have the president's lawyer going to another country and admitting he is doing it,
digging up dirt,
to undermine the United States of America's Justice Department. He said that. It's going to undermine the United States of America's Justice Department, most of whom that have been working in America's Justice Department that Rudy is going to, in his words, undermine, were appointed by Donald Trump. This is madness. And yes, there's always been madness surrounding Donald Trump, but make no mistake, the pace is quickening.
Well, yeah, and you think about the notion that I mean, you have Rudy Giuliani a couple weeks ago coming out and saying, essentially, what we've now learned from the Mueller report is that there's no problem accepting dirt, stolen material from a foreign country in a campaign. Essentially, as long as it's out in the open, as long as it's done publicly, it's all fine. And so now he's sort of making good on that and saying, all right, I'm going to now go to Ukraine.
By the way, Sam Stein said this, and to follow up on that, there's something refreshing about the Trump campaign, now just openly working with a foreign government to win re-election, as opposed to benefiting from it and denying that it ever took place.
For them, the lesson of the Mueller report is to just do the thing that most people previously found totally unacceptable. Their lesson is, if we do it out in the open, if we announce that we're doing it, it's all fine. You think about like that, talk about the fast conveyor belt to hell. If that's now the standard, is like, hey, you know, collusion, cooperation, whatever you want to call it, seeking the aid of foreign adversaries to try to undermine political opponents, it's okay so long as we do it out in the open. you know, that's a fast boat to anarchy right there.
And another chapter in the story you just told, Joe, about Republicans rallying in, falling in for Donald Trump is the story of what's happening to Richard Burr right now, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, because they subpoenaed Donald Trump Jr. He's now being called a so-called Republican. Richard Burr, Republican of North Carolina, a so-called Republican by supporters of Donald Trump, and now by members of the United States Senate, his Republican colleagues saying, why are you doing this to the Trump family? Why are you putting him through this? You have some senators, Mitt Romney, Susan Collins, others who've supported the chairman, but he is now being attacked. He is now being held up as an anti-Trumper because he's performing his duty as the chair of the Intel Committee.
Very interesting that Mitch McConnell spoke up in Burr's defense during that lunch when everybody else was attacking. McConnell stood up in defense. By the way, here's a great example. Here's a guy I came into Congress with in 1994. He's been a conservative. He's been a loyal Republican. He's been, you know, a William F. Buckley conservative. He's been a Ronald Reagan conservative. He's been like what conservatives used to be when, you know, before Donald Trump. But Donnie, they've thrown their brand out the window. They're big spenders. I mean, biggest spending squad of Republicans. They're big government Republicans. They've just trash the rule of law. They don't care about it. The very standards they held Bill Clinton to, they've completely forgotten now. They're excusing perjury by the Attorney General of the United States of America. They are supporting tariffs. They are shutting down immigration. They're doing everything that Ronald Reagan opposed, including kowtowing to an ex-KGB agent. This is not conservative. This is madness. It just is.
And speaking of madness, starting with Trump with the Emoluments Clause when he took office, the amount of laws he's either broken or bending constitutional norms, what is the tipping point for voters? When and how do the Democrats, I have a theory on that, how do the Democrats wrap that into something? And I think it's none of the specific legal issues. It's Trump and wealthy people are part of a rigged system that have two sets of laws. They have one law.
I think we're there.
Have the other one.
I'm in the minority here. Everybody.
I agree with you. I think
everybody's saying Trump's getting reelected. I know there was one poll out this weekend. It's an outlier. Donald Trump is a 40% president at best. Sometimes it's 43, sometimes it's 37. I said it leading up to the 2018 campaign. I said, he's a 40% president. That means 60% of Americans don't like him. Democrats are going to do well. It's the same thing. It's same thing in 20. He's a 40% president. And again, I will say, because very few people in the media picked it up in 2016, now they think he has magic voodoo powers.
Yeah, like
and that he can do anything, and that he can eat glass and spit out chocolate.
Okay.
He can't do that.
Eat glass and spit out chocolate?
Well, yeah, that's what they're thinking. I just made that up.
A lot of different things.
No, but he has no magic voodoo powers.
No.
Even Trump himself told me the election could have been held on 10 days. Probably would have lost 9 of those 10 days. It was just that one day after the Comey letter. Everything hit perfectly that one day. He still lost by 3 million votes.
Yep.
So everybody should get their spick and span, take a cold shower, get the Brillo pads out, scrub yourself down. Like 40% presidents don't win. Get rid of those memories. Microdose if you want to microdose.
Don't engage. Stop.
No.
Okay, point making.
Donnie, did I make my point?
Taken.
That we all are going to.
No, I don't want to hear from
We're all
Donnie.
going to practice better hygiene.
I don't want to hear another word from Donnie.
New president.
Good break.
Yes.
Wait a second.
So
Mika,
more on the
So
story.
spick and span and Brillo pads are okay for me, but not anybody else?
I just don't want to hear
about
back.
me.
I want you to stop talking. That's all. More on the story Willie just mentioned. Axios Mike Allen will explain Don Jr.'s 3 options for responding
can we just stop right there for a
to
second?
the subpoena.
Does he not? What's with the beard? Could we go back? This is out of Boogie Nights.
He said Mumford and Sons.
It's sort of a mix of Boogie Nights and Jerry Falwell Jr.
A little bit.
Eric has one as well. I think it's a brother.
Oh, is Eric doing the beard?
Eric's got a beard
too?
as well. I think.
You can't say the words Jerry Falwell Jr. anymore in quite the same way as you used to be able to.
No, it does.
The images that it conjures
does
are a little
elicit
different
an
now.
image, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The literal image.
The Miami image.
That's what I'm saying.
But I will say that, you know
1981.
what I don't understand, Willie, is Phil's watching this and saying, why can't they just stay on message? what I don't understand is, like, it'll be like 99 degrees, and they'll be playing baseball in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And these kids will have beards down to here. They'll be like Burl Ives. And it's got to be hot.
It doesn't look good.
Well,
it does not look good on anybody, even James Harden. It does not look good.
But Harden.
It looks pretty good on
looks
Harden.
good
But
on
Harden's
But I'm just talking about,
It's
if
a
you're
thing,
playing
it's
baseball,
a time, it's a
hot,
phase,
dude.
it's a hipster
Dude, did you
thing.
just say
Howland
Burl
knows.
Ives?
Civil War tipped
Burl
to
Ives.
Burl Ives.
Yeah.
That's strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mika?
Civil War
I'll
chic.
try and get some.
What you think?
Wait a minute. As we go to
Strong
break,
pull.
the Morning Joe
Burl
Book
Ives is
Club
great.
continues.
Oh, boom.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, guys.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Yes.
Number 4 yesterday.
Amazing.
With a bullet. With a bullet.
Yeah.
You remember the song? I'm 18 with a bullet?
I do.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, number 4.
Wow.
Bill Geist, Willie. That's so exciting.
That's so
I'm
great.
thrilled for my dad. The train keeps rolling. I hope if people haven't gotten it yet, it's such a fun read. If you love my dad, you're going to love that book. It's a memoirish kind of thing, and he put his heart into it. He's been thinking about it for 40
Love
years.
Who doesn't
It's
love your
hysterically
dad?
funny.
Everybody loves
And
your
you're
dad.
Best son
sit
in the
down
world,
with your
by the way.
dad
Best
next
son in the
hour.
world.
Yes, and we're going to have an
8
interview with
o'clock
my
hour.
dad in our next hour.
Nice.
Also next hour, we're going to be joined by Daniela Pierre Bravo,
Yes.
the co-author of the book, Earn It.
Right.
Yes,
Man.
from
Morning Joe Book Club.
undocumented immigrant
We got a lot
to
of-
dreamer
A lot of high-powered people around this
to
table.
best-selling author. If you could actually shut your mouth, that would be
Did you hear that? Hold on
I
one
didn't
second.
hear it because
Say
everyone
it again.
was talking over
Say it
me.
again.
I said, from undocumented immigrant to dreamer to best-selling author. Daniela Pierre Bravo will be joining us. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so glad I got a chance to say that. We'll be right back.
So cool.
She's a star.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.